and then it's a quick tap and release.
Okay.
Okay, so it's not recording.
Holding it from the bottom?
Right here.
Oh, okay. So like this.
You got it.
Okay.
Now that we have the 2 cameras out that we're going to be using, sorry you guys are not going to have a camera, but the 2 that we have out, it's a very busy Saturday night. So we're going to be in spaces where there's parked cars and people walking by. We don't film people, we don't film cars. If we had the thermal imaging camera out tonight, that would be the only tool I would need besides a crowbar to be breaking into vehicles, because I know exactly how long they've been sitting there, based on the heat signature of the motor.
That's what I was thinking of, thermal,
So with that, we're not using that camera tonight, but people still get weirded out by us with our crazy cameras. If I do a Andy's coming, basically you're going to point your camera directly at the ground. So everything's tied to that. You can't, you don't have to double hand it if you don't want to, but yeah, it's all tied together. You're fine.
Like this.
I'm used to it. That's how most people want to film. But with yours, you're holding a tablet. Basically, grab that top handle and just hold it like a purse. That's the easiest way. So again, he's already given it up. He's like, nope, I want something better.
I'll just hand it to her and run.
and run. That won't be suspicious at all. Here, take my shit.
Here, camping out.
I'm done. I'm out of here. All right. So next, let's start talking to dead people, because that's why you guys are here.
Oh my gosh,
That's the wrong one. I want to get started with the right one. So, talking to dead people, we're going to be using a lot of spirit boxes. There'll be a communication device in every single group that we have here, because that's just the way I like to operate. So, spirit boxes, on your TV shows, this is the white noise. So, on your TV shows, they try to show you disembodied voices by giving you the bullshit they think they heard in the middle of the screen, and then they're trying to convince you of the same thing, right? We're going to be doing this in real time. So, I will tell you, getting a disembodied voice from white noise is a rarity. I get about 6 to 7 solid Class A EVPs, I don't have to tell you what it says, per year, not 12 an episode. So kind of keep that in mind. So we're going to be going with beginner methods on all spirit boxes. What does that mean? These are all slowed down on purpose. I want the radio chatter to come through. You're going to be listening to that radio chatter and telling me what it says. That's song lyrics, commercials, DJs. So, with those things coming through and you're like, oh, welcome to Charleston, or go buy a Kia today, I want to know that you heard those things. The reason why is because we might be in a space where somebody who made a part for a Kia was from Charleston in that area of where we're haunting, right? So that's kind of how this works. So it's a 50-50 shot. It's not always going to be a direct message, and a lot of it's going to be bullshit. It's up to me to sift through it. So, and then of course I'm going to be giving you links to verify everything, by the way. So it's not like because I told you so, it's because that's the way it is. Botanica.org taught me to teach you. So that's where I'm getting my information from. All those links will be within your, I thought this one was sped up last night, so interesting. All right, so Arnaldo, you're going to be the only one to hear this one in real time. So you seem like you're very outgoing, so I'm very curious to see how this is going to go with you. I'll be honest, I normally give this to the females, but I find that males actually do better with an earbud in their ear. You would think that our listening skills aren't as well if you listen to our wives and girlfriends, right? But the funny thing
selective hearing.
Yeah, exactly. But the funny thing is, he's going to be using that selective hearing capability by listening to this guy. Now, he's going to be the only one to hear it in real time, unless, of course, he shares it with Claudia. So you're going to have an earbud in. I don't want these back, by the way. Earwax is gross. These are yours. So I buy them in bulk. The only thing you need to worry about is the volume. I'm going to be keeping track of whatever you hear, because you're going to be telling me. I write everything down. So I keep a little notebook with me so I know exactly where we're at. The cool thing for you guys, this is recording just the suite, nothing outside. So he can mess with the volume, and it's not going to mess with our recording. I spot check this guy when I get back to the office. So I'm going to be writing down your notes, and then of course I'm going to be creating my own. I'm not looking to verify what you heard. I'm looking to add to the investigation. So if that makes sense. So with that said, your volume is the wheel right here. I'm just going to turn it all the way down so you don't get blasted in the ear. Undo your twist tie, and then find a comfortable volume. Most people work with just one ear in, turn the volume down when I'm covering the history, and then when I say let's go, get the spirit boxes up, that's when you turn it up to your comfy volume. That one goes to you.
What other equipment do you guys use?
I'm super excited for this.
I can't.
Me personally?
Oh, no, for like this, you have like different stuff.
So I'm usually the one that's called to a team. So, and it's usually because the spirit boxes are kind of my expertise. Like I can use them on any speed, blindfolded, non-blindfolded, those kind of things. So if I get called to another team, it's because of what I'm able to do with these. So because I use every model available. So I study it and I test myself. My daughter's usually there if we're going to a new area to kind of see what's going on with the area. And I don't like to know the history. All right, so Sherry, yours is going to be kind of twofold. So this isn't the most exciting job that she asked for, so I want to make sure you guys are involved with something else.
Oh,
so,
I want the easiest job.
you have one button.
Okay.
One button.
Oh, all right.
So yours is another spirit box, but it's open speaker. It's on mute right now, but it is using both FM and AM. So the one Arnaldo's using is only FM. It's also attempting to take out the white noise in between the radio stations. So hopefully you're only going to get words. You're not going to hear as much of the gobbledygook as Arnaldo is. So this is 75% accurate. What you hear out of this is 75 going to be relevant to the location. So again, I'm looking for those very specific things. We're going to talk about that. So I'm going to do a quick volume check just to kind of see where we're at with it. Make sure we have some signal coming through. We are near horses, so then I'll put it back on mute, show you where that button is, and then I'll let you know when to unmute it, just because I don't want to be, you know, if this thing is running while I'm giving history, I tend to want to listen to it because my ear is trained for it. So again, I'll say, can we mute that for me? So your mute button is right here on the right. It's the only button there. It's right there in the center, and it's on mute right now. That's it. So this way that both of you can actually listen. In the event you guys miss something in real time because I'm working with somebody else, by all means, it'll pick it up on the regular audio, and you guys can listen to it in later on.
Yes. I was thinking this was the infrared, but it kind of is. Your purple.
Oh, do you not want it now?
It's fine.
It's not that it's not, it's just not how do I put this? The most exciting job in real time. I will tell you, like when I'm going through that video, I find more evidence from that video than I do any of my cameras, just so you know. So that one is more about the aftermath, only because it's so damn small. So this one in particular, I don't want to give you something that goes in your ear, just so you kind of have that thought. You kind of mentioned like you're a little sensitive to certain things. So that's another piece of why, like somebody that comes to me and says like their self-proclamation that they're empathetic or that they can sense things, I tend not to give them something that's going to be like Arnaldo that's going to go in their ear. The reason why is because you're already getting your own messaging. I don't want to mess with that. So again, normally it causes kind of a defect, like it kind of alters things a little bit. So you're going to get a spirit box that you don't actually have to listen to. You just have to watch it. That's the beauty of it. On your TV shows, they use an obelisk. So an obelisk is basically a word generator. I don't use the obelisk. Let me tell you why. First off, the obelisk
The boat came up on us.
only has 2,048 terms in it, and it's pre-programmed with spooky terms, right? So that's not a whole lot of terms in our English language. So I actually use this guy. It's a word generator app, so it has over 9,100 words in here, and they're not all tended to be spooky terms. So that's the fun thing about this guy. So this is about 20% accurate, and it's supplemental to what's being heard on the other spirit boxes. So just kind of keep that in mind. 80% of this is going to be bullshit. I don't want to see every word that comes up. It does save everything to a list. So this is last night's list. They actually had 124 terms and phrases come up, and it does put timestamps on it. So I'm going to know exactly where we are and see if it matches up with what was heard in real time, plus my spot checks. That's the fun part about this guy. So I know it seems like I just handed you guys just a bunch of screens, but that's kind of the way this fell into play tonight. So I'm going to clear the history from last night and start you guys off fresh.
I actually used this one before.
Have you? So,
while we were out fishing.
So there's a free version of it that has about 1,000 terms in it. So I paid the $3, and I wanted the big giant dictionary.
You're right, 80%, but man, when it's right,
It is right.
Yeah.
It's spot on.
it's spot on.
Last but not least, Claudia is going to be kind of our safety director. So, because I figured you're going to be helping him out by listening. So, what's the relationship between everybody here, by the way?
Boyfriend.
Boyfriend?
Best friends?
Best friends?
6.
Married?
Yes.
Okay, got it. All right. Again, I don't normally ask that, but I hate to call somebody, I mean, you guys could be brother and sister. I don't know. So I've done that by accident before, like making a dirty joke. He's like, dude, that's my sister. I'm like, oh shit, sorry, man. So
And I
safety
do
director.
love her, but she's not my girlfriend.
I call us platonic lesbian lovers.
Yeah, platonic.
Platonic, I love it.
You guys normally see this little blinky light guy on TV shows, right? So we are not using this tonight. The reason why is because it doesn't go high enough for the spaces we're going. It only goes to 25 milligauss. I'll explain more about those readings as the night goes on. I usually hand this to the shortest person in the group, just because it keeps the little guy occupied and just tells me what color he sees. I just saw an orange, I just saw a red, those kind of things. It keeps him very occupied. So, but instead of that, we are going to be using this guy. So Claudia, you're going to be telling me anything that's 2.5 and higher. This measures electricity around us. So again, I will be debunking a lot of like electrical poles, parking meters, so forth and so on. So the 2.5 is going to be a baseline for every new space that we go to, unless I tell you something different. and then you're going to escalate it. So if you get a 2.5 and then a 7, I don't want to know anything below that 7 moving forward while we're in that space. Otherwise, I'm going to have a whole notebook full of numbers. Does that make sense?
Hold on. So
if we're standing here,
2.5 tell you,
right?
And then you said it jumps to 7.
Sure. Tell me again.
Tell you again.
But then you get a 4. I don't care about the 4.
Not
Okay,
unless it
so
spikes.
then you
Not
get
unless
a
it
9.
spikes again.
I
No,
wanna
that
go
was
up.
7.
Okay.
Again.
Keep it going
That
up.
becomes your new normal.
Oh,
You got
okay,
it.
okay.
Your new base.
Okay.
Okay. So the bottom number is ambient temperature. So it's just telling us based on the yellow probe what the temperature is out here. If we were using the thermal, it would be we could debunk it or prove it in real time. But we're just not using that camera tonight, so you don't need to focus on this bottom number. You don't need to hit any buttons. Like,
There's no thermal.
just let me know. Just all you gotta do is watch it, and then obviously help him listen. So very simple jobs, all right? So I try to keep things as simple as possible.
No, what are you? What are you?
Oh, trust me, you guys are gonna keep me on my toes already.
I was just curious.
So I'm the guy that kind of monitors everything. So when we go to these spaces, I know what 90% of them look like. As far as like what the histories of them are, it's the other 10%. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So I'm here to kind of monitor like what you guys have going on. Because if I'm working, I'm not focused on what everything is happening. So especially if I have a spirit box, you guys won't see me the rest of the night because that's just the way my ears work. But I'm kind of like just here as, I hate to say just the guide, but I'm the guy to show you how this works. So there's a reason why we started here.
Do you like to do this in your free time too?
Oh yeah.
When you're not doing, do you have places that you like to go and?
So it just depends. I don't like to go to common spaces. So when you told me about St. Augustine, my mind automatically goes to the lighthouse, just because that's where I vacation. I go to St. Augustine, but I don't like to go to the places that are already deemed haunted. You guys are going to see that based on our route. So when I go to places, I'm like, oh, well, this is an old park. There's some ruins here. Let's just see what's happening. And then I dive in to see if what the spirit boxes and stuff was telling me actually falls in line with what the actual history is. So I don't like to know the history ahead of time. So one of my best cases, just as an example, nobody would ever think to go there because of what it is the Flight 93 Memorial in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. So that was a 9/11 plane crash, so in case you're not familiar with that. I didn't know anything other than the plane crash. I went there to pay my respects like everybody else, but I had a thermal imaging camera running right here. I also had spirit boxes running and a little side bag that I carry around. All kinds of things were going on. So I just look at all of that shit later. So I went in there, paid my respects, just like you guys would have done the exact same thing. Probably one of my most compelling cases ever, and it was in the middle of the daytime.
I believe that.
So I actually had a guy wearing a hat just like mine that Joey loves and in the door so much, overlooking the scene with a big old gut. He was there 1 second and he was gone the next. And it was on the thermal imaging camera. He was completely blue, which means he was at least 15 to 20 degrees colder than the ambient air around him. And people living should be much, much warmer. So yeah, take that for what it's worth. By the way, if you want to know about any of my other weird cases, it's all on the podcast, which is actually how this got started. So we'll talk more about that as we kind of.
What am I looking for on this? Anything?
Anything moving around that's white.
Okay, white.
You guys are perfect.
I did not plug in the camera.
You guys are purple, so.
Did I not plug in the camera? So can you hold that up for just a second? I did not plug in the camera. I was so focused on plugging in, because you'll die on us. There we go. Perfect.
All right.
All right.
Anything that's white.
Yeah, anything moving around that just looks weird and out of place. Like, you're going to see insects. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's a mosquito for sure. But some of these other things, if it's moving intelligently, like stops, turns, moves, like, that's not an insect.
Right.
Just so you know. So especially if something stops and, like, hovers for a second and disappears in frame, that was not a bug.
All right.
So that's the good stuff. Big John's, there's a reason why we're here.
Something hovering over one of you, like fiercely? Should I warn the person?
We're not going to those kind of places, just so you know.
I know, I'm kidding.
There's also, by the way,
We're not bringing it back.
that's usually the major concern, which is what I was about to bring up. So there are things inside my bag that kind of keep everything grounded. So when I first started doing this, Saturday nights, and now we got the ringing of the bells. I was going to say, wait, there's going to be 5 more. So when I first started doing this, you guys were bringing ghosts with you. They were going home with me.
Oh, no.
Yeah, exactly. So I actually have epilepsy. That is not a good combination. So if I can't drive and have to text my wife a garbled text, that's when she starts calling all of my psychic friends, which are my only friends these days. And she's like, "You guys got to do something because Nick's not giving up on this ghost hunting, for a living thing. Let's get him protected." So there are satchels and little,
Pray for you.
yeah, I mean, rituals and things. I mean, I have to keep up with it. So I have to go get ocean water, bless them under the full moon. Like, it's every 3 to 6 months based on what satchel it is. So, yeah, this is life, guys. This is what I do. So, all right, let's get back to Big John's. Because we're going to be on this very noisy street corner all night. So there's a reason.
Somebody home to her house. Yeah.
A couple of black stones. Any kind of black crystals, just carry them around. Put them in a little satchel. Yep. You can wear them too. It doesn't matter. Mine are in little tiny, little silk satchels. They're
Black one.
most of the black ones will kind of keep things grounded. It's not that they're going to repel anything. It's just to kind of keep things like, hey, I'm just here to observe. You stay here. I want to see what you can do. I'm going to leave. You stay here, kind of mentality. It just keeps it grounded. So again, in the spaces we're going, you have to remember most of these places I've been going to almost every night, 5 to 7 nights a week for about 4 years. So I have a relationship with these folks. So don't be surprised if my name starts to pop up. So Saturday nights, we never know what the hell's going to happen because it's so busy down here. But
So have you heard of where you visualize your cloak? You put your cloak on and then you
oh yeah,
fix it off? That's what I've always been told to do.
so when I get down here, just so you guys have an idea, I live an hour from here. So I have to watch the weather. If we're going to have nasty weather, I cancel pretty early just because of how far away I live. But when I get down here, I go park, I kind of talk to the people that we're about to go hunt down and try to communicate with. And I kind of hey, we're going to show up respectfully. I'm going to do my best to keep my group in a tame manner. And there's one place that we're going to go to very soon where I actually walk through there every night and I read off all of your names to let her know who's coming and how many people I'm bringing. It's a showman of respect. And I do it every single night. So if I'm running late here, it's because I was running late over there and I was kind of just getting a feel for the location. So again, that place can be a little temperamental because she's a prominent English woman. So again, if we piss her off, we're not going to get anything. So a lot of times, I've skipped that place quite a few times just because it just didn't feel right. So, or my group didn't feel right. So I would tell you in one of the tours from the past couple nights, I probably should have skipped it. So the group just wasn't vibing with what was going on. So they were there for shits and giggles and they had too many drinks beforehand. So I was kind of yeah, do I even want to do this? Normally I just go home. So if somebody shows up drunk, I just didn't catch on to it until we were already underway. So it's kind of shit, that's really hard to get all my gear back from half the group and only take the other half for the rest of the night. So again, it's kind of a weird, debacle to have. Especially when the equipment you guys are holding is not cheap. So again, somebody could get pissed and throw it, toss it, whatever. I've had that happen before too. It's really hard to get this shit overnighted. But anyway, back to Joey's damn, this guy talks a lot.
No, we don't got to deal with all that here, it seems like, so that's good.
Yeah.
I've been so excited about this.
Yeah.
You got a picture.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty cool. So I'm actually excited. I want to say relieved because this means I get to have fun too. So I don't feel like I'm babysitting, which is good. So Big John's. Place is haunted. Of course it is. That's why it was in all of your texts this morning. So this place was owned by a football player. His name was Big John Kennedy. He named it after himself. He played for the 1947 New York Giants. Whenever I'm giving you the history of a space, I'm always going to slow down on the key words that are commonly found there, basically for all of our communication devices.
Should I turn it on?
Not yet. So, you got a little while to go. We're still near the posts. I know it's loud over here, and it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but you'll see why in a minute. But anyway, keywords here would be 47, New York, Giants, anything relative to a bar, the name John. You guys are getting the point of this, I hope. Because again, I'm going to do a further explanation at the next location. Anyway, here's why it's haunted. John used to sit in the back of the bar, your right, my left, and he used to tell the bartender if all those cadets that were coming over from the Citadel, if they were old enough to drink or not. One night, 2 guys came in, they were not old enough to drink. John had the bartender throw them out. They left pretty pissed. They came back the next night and tried to steal the cash register from the front of the bar. John saw what was going on from the back. He slammed down his beer and goes up front and starts beating the shit out of these guys, just pounding them right to the floor. Well, a couple of gunshots went off. John got grazed in the neck, but the bullet just grazed him and went behind him into the wall. He's the only one that was shot. He's also the only one that got up. Goes back to the bar, tells the bartender, "Get me another beer. Go get those 2 guys an ambulance." Irony of the story. You guys have all been conditioned that if I tell you this building is haunted, you automatically think of some kind of tragic death that occurred here, right? It's not the case. Here's what's going on here. It's the bullet hole. It's allegedly still here. Even if it's not, and this new renovation of Big John's filled it in, I don't drink or go to the bar, so I don't know if the bullet hole's still there or not. But that means they sealed Big John's blood inside the front of the building. People that sit in the front of the building tend to get a little queasy, nauseous, or headache. this is why we start here. I'm taking 6 strangers. I don't feel like that so much now that we've all been chatting for 20. But I'm about to take you guys ghost hunting, and I don't know how it's going to affect any of you. Anybody feels any of those symptoms, I need to know immediately. So we will blame the weather first, or whatever you had for dinner first. So the second thing will be, let's get you out of the area and then assess to see if it was truly paranormal. I am not a TV show host. I'm not here to make shit up for you guys, just so you guys know. So if I am wrong in something and I get a local that's like, that's not entirely true, I'm like, well, then you tell me the difference and I'll verify your difference. I'm the guy that's okay with not knowing something. So just kind of keep that in mind. Let's get your mind off your own health, because that's probably the scariest shit I'm going to tell you all night long, because it deals with you, all right? Probably like, oh my God, what the hell did we sign up for? But anyway, we had a big earthquake here in 1886. If you didn't already know that from another tour in town, because every tour talks about it, this is South Carolina. We don't get earthquakes, we get hurricanes. This is a weird thing for us, especially 1886. If we would have had a Richter scale back then, it would have been like an 8.6, I think it was. So it was a big one. But at any rate, so this building of Big John's is allegedly where the first death occurred from that earthquake. The white mantle you see in the middle of the building also wraps around the front on the very busy East Bay Street side. They say a piece of that white mantle broke off, hit somebody in the back of the head, killed them, and the previous owner of this bar, in between the 2 Big Johns, used to see dark shadows in the middle of East Bay Street after closing. Notice I said allegedly a lot with this story. I have no proof whatsoever. It's a great segue so nobody thinks about getting sick on the tour, even though I just brought it back up again. So, that's supposed to be a joke, everybody. Thank you for at least smiling. I was like, I'm late, but I got this. Are we ready to ask more questions about these devices at the next stop? All right, let's do it. Finish your dinner, by the way. You all good?
Ready?
Do it every night.
So, when I get to the location,
Yeah, I mean,
kept getting
I have nothing wrong with it. Don't push it much. I'm okay with it. Go to work. Go to work. It's your night, man. There's no right or wrong way to do this.
Yeah, but you just don't.
What's going on?
Oh, I'm talking. We were in Sedona. We were at a store, and I kept getting sick in that store. And then later, the lady came and speak to me and said they had a vortex in there, and I was picking up on it. So I was just saying, do you remember when that happened? I remember you had.
I love all those places that have vortexes and portals all of a sudden over the past 2 or 3 years. So, this location is very quick. We're not going to spend a lot of time here. It's just, imagine when I take my 10 to 12 people out, I have to explain 10 to 12 more devices. So this is very quick. This is where we keep some of the horses for your carriage rides. We call this the Big Red Barn. Right? So the history here is a one-liner. This is the same red barn that held horses that delivered milk and eggs to the residents of Charleston. Keywords being delivery, milk, eggs, anything relative to a stable. Let's talk about all the communication devices. That includes the word list and the 2 spirit boxes that we're using. So what's the first question everybody wants to ask a Ouija board when they get in front of one? If you've never used one, think of a TV show.
Who are you?
Simpler than that.
What's your name?
Simpler. Come on, you guys know this.
Here?
Are you here?
Are you here?
Okay, so we're all going to stand around. We got a Ouija board in front of us. And is anybody here? Let's say we did that just now. Arnaldo here's the answer of no. That means somebody's here. You guys getting my point?
Yeah.
We're not going after yes/no answers. Regardless of whatever the hell your TV shows teach you, it's bullshit. So we're going to go after the details. If somebody is here, please tell me the color of a big red barn, right? So now we're listening and looking for the color red. However, the 2 of you are using song lyrics and DJs to be able to convey messages back to the rest of us. The word red might not be available. Fire truck, blood, heart. Those 3 things, specifically red. I would take that as possibly being paranormal if it was a direct answer and something else was happening. Let me give you another example. Let's say Joey's word list gives us the word art. That doesn't mean anything over here by itself. Sherry hears the number 40 coming out of her spirit box. That doesn't mean anything by itself. Put them together. Art Faircloth was number 40 on Big John's team. You guys see where I'm going with this? So it's a lot of puzzle piece collecting. Again, I know what 90% of these puzzles look like. I get excited when I have to research something. So me staying late and not getting home till 6 in the morning, my wife's like, what the hell happened? I'm like, I had to research. You know, I feel like that's the kind of thing, that's what goes on. So she kind of gets it, she understands. So she's getting up and going to work usually when I'm getting home. Because she works during the day, obviously I work at night. And that doesn't always have to be 2 pieces of communication either. It could be an anomaly that we caught on a camera. It could be an EMF spike at the same time. I'm just used that as kind of a perfect example. It's kind of like the perfect storm. I have had full sentences come out of multiple devices. Like you might get a piece of something, then you would get the next piece, and then you would have the last of it. So I've seen that happen all the time. So cameras, I think you guys both have the gist that we're not going to be pointing at people in cars, so good deal. I do watch your videos in double time. Here's why. First off, I get to cover more footage. I'm still watching for 1 minute real time, which allows me to cover 2 minutes of your video. So the more still you are with your cameras, the easier it is for me to capture an anomaly, and I'm not sure what it is. If you're creating the Blair Witch Project, it's going to be twice as bad for me when I'm watching it. So when we get into a new space in the event, because we're very chatty all together, and that includes me, if I forget to tell you, like, go ahead and get your video started, whenever we get into a new space, start your video, let it run for the duration of the time we're there.
So you want to just point it in one spot? So you don't want to go around the room then?
You can, but slowly.
So I shouldn't like spin in a circle.
Yeah, because you're going to make me throw up back at the office. I'm like, oh shit.
I feel like you'll miss something if you're not like
I know, I'm
slowly
kidding.
like
Right.
I don't do anything slow. This will be a challenge in itself.
to do it.
Well, the cool thing is because Sherry's going to be next to you this whole time. She's going to be listening to that spirit box. You're going to want to help her. So you're really not even going to be focused on that little screen. You're going to be listening.
Okay.
You know, you're not going to want to separate your senses that way.
Okay.
I already told you that, you know, trees, anything with leaves is not your friend, so kind of keep that in mind. And it will pick up, like, the outlines of cars. Last but not least, it will pick up shadows. So it's not a dead person lying on the ground. It's your shadow. And the reason for that is... Yeah, he's right there. He's wiggling. He's holding a camera. And it's because that's an absence of light. That's why the light sensor doesn't understand what it is. So it's going to put that stick man on your own shadow. So just kind of keep that in mind. Any spikes that came out of yours yet? So Joey, with yours, just real quick, hit the white box to the right of your word, if you don't remember. To the right of the word, there you go. It'll show you everything we've had so far. Give me the last 3 terms you've had.
Hard without, word wide.
Yeah, a whole lot of nothing. You see the top, like, circle back in the top right? That'll take you back to your main screen. So nice and easy to use. I make everything super simple because I get 6-year-olds, I get 106-year-olds. So I never know who's going to be in between. Oh yeah, I get the walkers with tennis balls. You get it. So
That's awesome.
yeah, I mean, I only take folks half a mile.
Great, that means we can come back. We're really old. There'll be John with his walker.
Well, hang on a minute. So hold please. In about 2, maybe 3 years, I will actually be taking this to New Orleans.
Oh,
So-
Nola's great for this.
Now, my wife is going to have to move down there to finish up her degree so she can become a vet. She'll be going to LSU, so I had my choice of either moving near St. Augustine, where I vacation, or to go to the voodoo capital of the nation.
yeah.
So I said, well, shit.
Yes.
Like, what do you think I want to
Twist
go?
my arm.
I know, right? So for me, my wife, my new sugar mama, is going to be the vet of the family, and I get to go ghost hunting still for a living instead of being the breadwinner. So it's kind of cool for me. Hopefully I'll actually be more accepted down there, which I believe I will. Believe it or not, you're in the holy city right now. I still look over my shoulder a lot. So that's kind of the thing down here. I go
So, like,
ghost
You're
hunting.
in the
Madame
freaking
LaRue, have you
Bible
been
Belt.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Well,
We're in the deep.
I'm
Like,
from
this is the
Milwaukee, and I moved 25 years ago
have you
down
been to
here
New
to
Orleans?
I
Charlotte.
haven't.
So
Because like there's
It's
I
like
met a voodoo
a different-
priestess.
yeah.
There's like Madame
Yeah.
LaRue or whatever.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That was the scariest ghost tour I've ever done.
I can't wait to,
That
because
was-
I'm
and
going to have
the
to.
voodoo priestess scared the shit out of me. She came up and talked to me. Yeah, it was freaking scary.
So poor me will have to vacation without my wife down there in my backpack, and I'll be taking a ghost tour every other night and then investigating spaces in between, because I like to not tell the same histories that everybody else is telling. I've already created my stack of books, like older histories of New Orleans, so that way I can go back further than what these people are actually talking about. That's kind of how I developed this. Was I took a shit ton of ghost tours and kind of learned what everybody was telling, and I was like, I don't like that story, I don't like that one. That one was on 3 of them. Like, I'm not going to this one, so forth and so on. So yeah, you will not be able to come back to see me here in Charleston when you're old and gray. You'll have to go further south.
All right.
All right. Any other major questions about your devices? I'm going to talk more about EMF at the next location. Okay. Are we all good?
Yep.
Ready to learn some real history?
Yep.
Have you heard anything?
No.
Not yet. Okay.
Just radio.
Okay, let's do this.
Cage is kind of interesting. Just keep the animals here.
Yeah. It's vague, but it's there. I get it. Kind of insane. We don't think of it as a cage because I never get rotated out very quickly. They spend more time on patches.
Yeah, they seem really good to us.
Yeah, they are. I know that there's a lot of controversy around that here in the city. But my wife volunteers at the animal shelter, kind of deals with some of that kind of stuff, so we get a lot of insider looks of what's going on.
Yeah, we went to the tour.
Yeah, they do really well with masks. So Claudia's leading the way. Where are we going? No, I'm kidding. Have I screwed up anybody's name yet, by the way? Can I get you all down pat?
Well, are you a Margaret? But you're not legally a Margaret. No. Because I'm a Margaret. Meghann was one of my mom's options for me. Oh, and my brother's a Joey.
Oh, she's like, that's easy for me.
Yeah, really easy. I don't remember her name, but that's
You buried it deep down.
I have.
I will take it. Thank you for that. Perfect timing, by the way. So now it's time. By the way, if you have a camera, go ahead and hit that record button. It doesn't always need to be on me, but I'm going to explain EMF. So EMF, this is measuring electricity in the air. She just had a 33. That is astronomically high for being outdoors. You will ignore your readings, by the way, when you're on the parking, on the like the sidewalks, and when we're on a crosswalk. Our electrical lines are underneath our sidewalks here, so it's going to make it go off like 5 to 9s. So again, in between spaces, just ignore it. So how does that thing actually work? If we were obviously next to a parking meter, it would give off like a 5 to a 9, so it's going to measure the electricity around it. Things around your home. TV sets, that's going to give off about a 40 to 60. If you put it behind your TV set, just kind of giving you an idea of what a reading like that looks like. Your microwave that's heating up your food is about 150 to 170 on the outside of it. So that's a lot of electricity coming out of that guy. So I do a lot of measurements to test this. So I will tell you that the average spike for this location, and I say spike because it'll go in between these numbers and then usually drop back down to less than 2, is about 18 to 22 milligauss. So she already got a 33. I'm super excited. Your new baseline is going to be like a 20. So let's just say anything 20 and above at this point. Now, the highest I've ever seen that guy go in my 11 years of ghost hunting has been at this location, 214 milligauss. That's like putting your head inside the running microwave. We got the hell out of here. I already told you I have epilepsy. That's too much electricity for the guy with the neurological disorder. We were gone. So here's how the space is going to work. We're going to talk about the history. We're going to spread out a little bit. We're going to stay away from the vehicles. I know that there's a good handful of them in here tonight. This is actually pretty light for a Saturday. I'm surprised we're in a parking space right now, to be honest with you. And then I will regroup us to kind of cover all of the answers and show you how everything ties together. And then I'll explain the next space. And that's how we will work throughout the entire evening. If there's not a whole lot going on with this location, I do one round robin with you guys when you're out in the field and kind of see what's going on. Take a quick assessment. If there's not much, I'll regroup us pretty quickly and then we'll move on. If there is things going on and I need a secondary clue from something because we have a very solid piece, I'll do one more round robin, then bring us back. This is the space where I actually cut through every night and I tell Eliza all of your names. So, where the hell are we? I told you, I'm taking you to weird places. The other ghost tours don't come here. Why? There's nothing to see, right? We got a 97% waning give us move. So that's what we have. So this place used to be something relevant to the history of Charleston. This used to be the Eliza and Charles Pinckney Mansion. Their mansion sat in the front of the space, facing the full moon. And, well, it's not quite a full moon. It just looks way brighter than it did last night because there's no clouds. Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant. That is a restaurant, by the way. It used to be a church. And it came all the way across. And then we are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. That's the layout of the land. Who the hell were these people now? Eliza and Charles had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Chucks, in case you were losing track of that. That's why we look for those secondary clues. In the event that the name Charles shows up on Joey's word list, Arnaldo might actually have to give me this secondary clue so I know which Charles it was. Right? So that's the reason why I bring that kind of point up. Also, because the son and the nephew, Charles and Charles, they were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. That's a big deal for us, but I do hate politics. So we're going to discuss Eliza. She has a much better story anyway, so you're going to watch your camera on that lady. Got some folks watching.
Oh.
Yeah, you look like you. She's like completely turned away from the rest of the group, and she's like, "Look at the people go." I see that. So I'm sorry, I'm a bad dad with these cameras. I've been yelled at way too many times about cameras. People get really weirded out about it. So, and by the way, if you were wondering where all the weirdos are tonight, look around, you're them. Because again, when we go to
I didn't want to just keep it right here. That just seems boring.
It's not going to be if something goes by. So.
Yeah.
And not to mention, it's still recording audio. So both of your cameras are recording audio as well. So you won't just have my EVP recording, you'll have the EVP recordings from your video cameras as well. All right, so back to Eliza. Let's talk about her. She married Charles at a very young age. according to today's standards. I say that because those of you with communication devices, which is somebody in every group, if you ask her, don't expect numbers like 12 and 14 from the colonial days that she came from. Think of today's standards, because her husband was over double her age when they got married. Yeah, kind of a creepy age gap then, creepy age gap now. I'm just going to put that in the back of your brain. Which, by the way, speaking of, this is where I start withholding information on purpose. I'm not going to be giving you guys questions like what color was George Washington's white horse, right? Like, that's too simple. You already know the answers to that. You will be getting the answers from your spirit boxes, hopefully. Now, back to Eliza. She married Charles because her father was over in England and he thought he was dying. He's trying to bring all his children home one last time so he can see them. Eliza didn't believe he was dying. It was 1744. She stayed put and got married. You don't get married in that year to get a green card. We're not a country yet, so there's no such thing as a green card. She did marry him out of love. This is a true love story. Do not poke the bear and piss off this prominent English woman, please. So we already got a 33. Let's hope it goes up way higher than that. Because with that usually comes with sparks of other things that are going to be happening. Let's put you on mute. Perfect. So you'll be able to unmute it once we're done here, and I'll say, let's go. So back to Eliza. She was right. Her father did not die right away. Instead, he starts sending her gifts from England to where we're standing right now. You guys have been in town for at least a day. You've seen the word indigo somewhere. He sends her seeds of indigo. What is that? That is a plant that makes blue dye that makes her blue jeans blue. Some of you are wearing it tonight. So that's how we use it today. When she got them, she didn't know what to do with it.
You read a book about her.
The Indigo Girl.
Yeah.
This is her story.
Great book.
Yes, it was. Very romanticized, but good book. Sorry. Do my research,
Sorry.
obviously.
I digress.
And as
I'm like, oh.
Obviously, I'm a writer, so I do a lot of reading. So that was a very big, like, oh, let's see what the fictional part of this says. But anyway, back to Eliza. So when she got her seeds, she had to learn from her servants and slaves how to keep it cultivated. It's not always hot here, believe it or not. You're feeling it right now. It's a little chilled. Some of you are wearing long sleeves, which is surprising to me because I'm like, this is gorgeous. But anyway, once she learned how to keep it going, she learned how to make the dye, then moved it to a cash crop. Got a hold of her dad and said, our rice plantations are going downhill. We're going to make a killing with the indigo. And we now have a prominent English woman, or basically a prominent businesswoman in colonial days, which is something you just don't hear of, right? So especially before our country was actually started. So that's the boring business stuff, unless of course it's put in a very fictional, romantic type of comedy book. So, not a comedy, you get my point. But anyway, let's get into the weird stuff. So with all the communication devices, I'm going to give you guys a series of questions to focus on. What I do want you to understand is that we're using 3 different pieces of communication tonight, plus 2 audio, plus my audio. So again, lots of communication. If you guys are asking a question, he might get the answer. We never know where it's going to go. Even when I have just 2 people, we're still going to use 2 pieces of communication to verify where it's going to actually be, or to verify something that was already heard or seen. So let's kind of see how this is going to go. So between the 2 of you, we're going to give you kind of like 2 sets of major questions because, again, you guys, your devices, yours is only going to give us 1 to 2 syllable answers. We're going to start off with what happened to the mansion. It's not here, so it's obviously some kind of tragedy, so I'll give you that. If you get the what that comes out of it, we will normally get 2 or 3 numbers of the date of the exact time of when that occurred. So it could come in the form of numbers, could be in the form of like month, day, and year. We never know how it pops up. You can imagine my surprise when we get the tragedy and then we get the exact numbers. So I'm pretty stoked about that. We've gotten it several times in the 4 years that I've been coming here. You'll see what those numbers are before we leave the space. The other thing about the 2 of you is that Eliza, that I just told you about, is the second wife named Eliza from Charles back to back. You probably already knew that because of the damn book. Now, the first wife was also named Eliza, right? So, ironically enough, both Elizas have a maiden name that starts with the letter L. Figure out which Eliza we're dealing with. Believe it or not, we actually had the first wife's maiden name show up here last night, so I was kind of surprised to see it. So again, we don't always get it, but it did show up. So it's kind of like, all right, we didn't have any other clue to verify it. Could have been a coincidence, which I don't believe in, but at the same time, we only had something like that here. So ask which Eliza. You can also ask those marriage questions. How old were you when you got married? How old was Charles? How long were you married? Ronaldo. Sorry, I keep wanting to call you Ronaldo because I used to have an employee named Ronaldo.
For soccer?
Oh, soccer, yeah. But he was a very dear friend of mine, and he lost his son. So I was at his son's wedding before he passed away, and he passed away of cancer. I think that was his dying wish to get married, so that was like 2 weeks before. So you're kind of like, your name is just reminding me of all of that from like over a decade ago. So when I saw like, your name pop up, I'm like, Ronaldo, how the hell am I going to keep this straight? But anyway, your set of questions are going to be after Eliza's death. 4 major questions that we commonly get the answers to. How old she was when she died, what she died from, where she's buried, and what president was a pallbearer at her funeral. So, out of all of everybody here, the only thing I'm going to ask of you is that you do not poke questions about her children. we're still somewhat on a sensitive area about her children where there's a tragedy among one of them. I will tell you about it before we leave the space. Just don't poke the bear because I like to keep this place very gentle. So we can get you unmuted. Looks like both cameras are still running. What's the last couple of words that we had pop up on there?
Purpose, how, and Ruby. White, belong.
Alright, so use those in conjunction with one another and kind of see how they go. And again, if you're asking questions out loud, that's okay too. You can also just focus on them. There's no right or wrong way to do this, just so you guys have that thought process. Some people are very uncomfortable with asking questions to a person they can't see. I can guarantee you that the woman is here. Whether or not she wants to talk to you, that's up to her. I can't force what you like. So, kind of how this goes. Any other crazy numbers I need to know about?
Whatever questions we all have.
Okay.
Oh, we're supposed to
kind of
ask
numbers have you
when
been seeing?
she got married, how old she was when she was
Still
married,
take 12.
how old was
Still a pretty
her
decent number.
husband.
I'll tell you that's pretty high for most places out there. So, like, you getting a 33, like, right up the top, like, hell yeah,
What
let's do
else?
this. So, I'll take a 12 point.
So what are the questions we're supposed to be asking her?
I would just start off with what happened to the mansion, and then when did that happen?
Okay.
So, see if you can get some answers out of that. So
how you died, which brother,
where she's been. So, kind of just
That's
think
like
of your journal.
sounds like music I'm
like,
picking
how,
up.
when, where.
I don't know what that was.
So I mean, the white that I see is lights from like across the way and stuff. Okay.
So, like, basically, let me just give you a great gist of what I'm looking for. So when I'm watching that video, one of the probably best on my website to watch it.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the book now. I read it a couple of years ago, but I don't remember her getting married really super young.
That's why I say today's standards.
Yeah.
So some people are like, oh, she's from colonial times. It'll probably be. So this video. Let's see if
I
can
thought
make it
she
bigger.
had to do a lot with the plantation.
She did.
Yeah.
So I want you to watch right here. This is with your camera.
Up there?
Yep, you'll see it.
That?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
You see how it like stopped, turned, and then went up?
Yeah.
That's what we're looking
Okay.
for with that kind of guy. Like that's probably like that thing's bigger than my head.
Okay.
That was one of the best orbs I've ever caught.
Okay, so that was an orb.
Like when it comes up to me and just stops, and it disappeared in frame. Like it has to
Yeah.
appear in frame and disappear in frame. If
Yeah,
it comes
that's-
from outside, like I'm like, okay, what is that?
Well,
Just a light flare? More than likely, yes. Sorry, so yeah, definitely keep a listen on that. And that one is not easy. I know it's sensitive because of the one button, but listening to it is probably one of the hardest. But look back here. So when something does come through, it's a
well,
definitive.
we heard something that we thought it was a song.
There's been a lot going on.
What I love about that one is because it uses both frequencies, AM and FM, and I don't know where it's coming from. Some voices that do come through and we capture it from a video, you can definitely tell it's not radio chatter, so it's definitely disembodied. It's not that radio chatter. It wasn't like a DJ coming on and saying Eliza. It was Eliza. You know, like kind of a creepy little whatever, because they don't always have the strength to communicate these people to communicate. So that's why we get these little tiny clues about things. We just have to know how to identify them. So that's the fun part of it. I love that spirit box.
Well, we can listen. I'll listen with you.
So Eliza, what happened to your house?
The mansion.
Yeah, what happened to the mansion?
And how old were you? When?
How old were you when you got married?
And how old was your husband? When you got
The book
married?
was really good. Really enjoyed it. I mean, I knew it was fiction, but amazing woman. Amazing woman. What she did, I mean, honestly, for the indigo business.
What was that?
That sounds like radio to me.
Oh yeah. see anything. Do you?
Oh. Well, you're honestly not supposed to see much on that teeny tiny screen.
Yeah.
How old were you when you got married?
How old was your husband when you got married? Oh yeah, that's What did you just hear?
Oh, I don't know.
So weird, the time keeps changing. It was 3 something and now it's 1.44. Is this not recording? Look.
Well, I would ask.
It must be, Sherry. It's flashing red. What is that? Oh, that's the tree.
Yeah.
Is that the tree?
Trees, yeah. The branches are moving.
Okay.
So, kind of see what else pops up with that. So, if you want to ask him, maybe what else he did for his jobs, because he had many positions, so he held many positions.
Okay.
So, maybe, just kind of see like something pops up, anything that's a political term, we're going to verify it, but just based on what I've seen so far.
Eliza, how old were you when you had to take over the plantation?
What was that? Did it say 25?
Sounds like 2 DJs to me.
How's the spirit box coming up?
No, I don't think so.
I thought I heard 25 when we asked something, but she doesn't think so.
You're hearing things, which is good. That's what I'm after. I want to make sure you're getting the gist of how to listen to it. Because again, this is kind of like, if we don't capture something here, we're going to struggle all night. Because this is one of the most active places I've ever been in 11 years. So that's why we kind of started here. Oh, wait a minute. That actually makes sense. Hang on. I need to verify. Holy shit. Because I don't think we have Eliza here. I think we have somebody else. Just based on what I'm seeing. Let's see. If I'm
Is
correct.
this for Shirley recording?
Yes.
Okay. That's what I thought I heard, but it was very. Although you have a hearing problem, so you're
Yeah,
not,
I'm not the best.
I heard 25.
I'm not the best person.
Yeah, I heard 25.
So close. I needed 26.
Oh.
So that's like a close but no cigar kind of thing. We had the number 10 show up on the word list. I was like, maybe we have, because I know Charles the nephew was born and died in the month of October, and we're obviously very close to October.
Yeah.
So he was born on October 26th, and he died October 29th.
Okay.
So, again, close but no cigar. I'm still going to take his 10. That's why I was kind of like, he did a lot of political
Here,
positions.
trade with me for a bit.
See, this is what I love. Learn stuff.
Well, I forgot she's really deaf.
She's really
She
deaf.
doesn't have her
I don't
hearing
have my
aids.
hearing aids
She
in.
doesn't have her hearing aids.
I'm really bad about that.
Do you have hearing aids?
I do, and I
You
just.
should have told me that. I wouldn't have given you a damn listening
Oh,
device.
but
Well, we'll trade back and forth. No,
Okay.
I
No,
just
I
spend
mean,
much
it's
time
loud.
talking shit
It's
about her.
loud.
She doesn't hear it. It's great.
it's loud.
That's
It's
funny.
just.
It's great. Yeah, but
That's so funny.
we've
I'm
been
giving-
best friends since we were 6.
Wow.
Yeah.
So a whole like 25 years you guys been best friends.
Yeah.
You know you're old when people are making
Times-
jokes about
ti-
you being
times
31.
At least I put a specific number on it. I didn't say like, oh, it's been 14 years and make you guys 20.
We look damn good for our age.
We do.
Hey, I get carded for milk. That makes me a happy grandpa, for sure.
How old
you a
are you?
grandpa?
I am.
So am I.
You're a grandpa too?
I'm a grandpa.
How old are you?
How old do you think I am?
I was gonna say like 28, but.
I was going to say like 42.
44.
Oh wow.
I work at night, dear. That's the secret. And even when I had a regular job, I worked overnight, staying out of the sun. That's the secret.
Yeah. That's a big thing.
And I
for
still
sure.
have all my hair. Like that's a
Oh
blessing.
my gosh, that is, yeah.
Yeah, you're not much gray, that's for sure.
Oh, it's in there.
See, I just heard a blip.
What'd you get?
I don't know. I couldn't.
I love when I have first stuff this way. Anything else crazy coming out of
I
yours?
was close. 42.
Joey?
Since we last talked, human, money, clear, witness, additional tug, talented, gear, and one.
One again?
So it's like WO. But it could be one. I guess depending on how you want
All right,
to
so-
look at it.
How old do you think we are?
Honestly, I would have said late 40s, early 50s.
Well, you're right.
All right, let's kind of regroup on this one. Let's see what we got going on. And all of you guys,
Did you see anything?
No.
No.
Did you?
Oh well, you're not really supposed to look at this.
Oh, that's good.
You got an answer. You got an answer?
you'll see why that Boston could be an interesting piece to this. I'm going to actually have to dive in because I'm not sure if it's going to be relevant, but you'll see why here in just a minute. Yeah, go ahead and stop your videos, give your hands a break a little bit. By the way, most of your devices have some kind of giant QR code on there. I'm sure you guys have noticed. So in the events during our time together, you want to capture all of, like, if it can hold up here.
Stuff and wine.
Okay, she got this. So
He didn't give this to me in the first place. He didn't
forgot
show me
you
where
were
the
deaf.
button.
I forgot you don't have your hearing aid. She needs hearing aids. I took it from her.
What?
I did not
I knew-
respond to that.
I knew
job.
somebody
You
was gonna
notice?
do it.
I
Good
did
job.
not respond to
Yeah,
that.
that did she, because she couldn't hear it.
Yeah,
so.
she didn't hear it, but I looked at him
I'm
like,
not
I
that
got
bad.
I got
That's-
the chuckle at least, so that's all
I'm
that
not
matters,
that
right?
bad. That's why
Not bad.
I
I
forget to
can-
put them in.
I can insult her in front of
You
people.
guys are all hysterical, by the way. And Claudia is still looking around like, what did I say?
Just very quiet.
All right,
On
Philadelphia.
my shit list, she didn't get me water.
Wow. She just put you right on there. Check mark.
I didn't buy anything he did.
We can go 10 grams, 10 grams.
10 grams, 10 grams.
No, I'm okay.
I got a Kit Kat. You want a Kit Kat?
Don't scare the middle-aged woman.
This is called
I
Philadelphia
bumped
Alley.
this. Does that matter?
This used to be called Jewelers Alley. So this is where some of the duels used to occur. And if this horse is going to come down this way, we will move down even further so I can get by my gauge that I normally go to because I hate bright light. Obviously, I work in the damn dark. So, I'm sorry guys. Here's how this piece of history goes. There was a doctor that moves down to Charleston from Rhode Island, which is part of the reason why we're looking for RI. Now, he moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a shit ton of money from her parents. She's an attorney helping her out with all of this cash flow. So are they dispersing? No, they can't go through there. They're just bailing on that tour. Another reason why I don't do 20 people.
Sorry, that's alley.
That's in the market area.
Yeah, I know at night it does get a little bit like.
Oh, you're not here. Where are you going? That's perfect. Sorry. How are you? We're gonna move down by this gate a little bit. Let's move down this way.
Yo, you're ruining the tour.
There you go. That's a lot better. Did we get everybody back? Perfect. All right, so.
Now hold your thing up. So can I turn this on now?
No.
Wow, you're being really strict about it.
Yeah. Well, I'm about to cover the history, and I'm going to want to listen to it, and then I'll screw up the history, and then you guys are going to know what the hell you're looking for. So once we exit the space, you'll be able to keep it going until we get to the next location. And then we're going to spread out at the next location as well. So, that party looks like they're pretty far away. In the event that they come up here, we'll just kind of split the seas and let them pass again. So, anyway, back to Dr. Ladd. So, that doctor, his name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. So, if Arnaldo, if you're listening right now and you hear the song Brown Eyed Girl, it's not coincidence. It's part of his name, and we get it here all the time. Just so you have that idea. Anyway.
And if you want to sing, you can.
We're okay with that. I'll just keep talking. But anyway, so the attorney that Amanda has thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. So he tells Amanda, get rid of the doctor.
You just said doctor.
You can't make this
just
shit
said
up.
doctor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so keep an eye on your EMF meter. You may get something. Again, I told you, can't make this stuff up. This is why I have you guys do the work. Because again, this is where it's a genuine
It's
experience.
like I just heard that.
Oh, yeah, but you got chill.
Chill bump.
You guys are funny. Hysterical. Dr. Ladd moves to Charleston to prove that he's not after Amanda's money. So, on his way into town, the coachman that he had set him up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a good start to his stay here in Charleston. Somebody was walking by. He seen what was about to happen. His name was Ralph Isaacs, the other set of initials of R.I. So, let these ladies pass through. Hi, ladies.
Sorry.
You're good, you're good. I was getting the letters RI all the time on regular spirit boxes, so to verify it is exactly why I bought that device that's in your hand. I wanted to make sure we were getting those letters, and we've had it at least half a dozen times in the past 6 months that I've had it. So take it for what it's worth. Anyway, Ralph tells the doctor, dude, you can't stay here. I know that coachman is going to try to kill you. Come with me. I got friends at 59 Church Street. You can rent a room from them, and you'll be safe and good to go. 59 shows up here a lot on your guys' end, too, on the communication. Anyway, Dr. Ladd took him up on the offer of renting a room from his friends, and they became friends. So Ralph and the doctor are now friends. The longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. He's proving his point that he's not after Amanda's money.
Hundreds of thousands of cash.
What? What did he say?
He just heard hundreds of thousands of dollars
Hundreds of
cash.
thousands of cash.
Oh, my gosh.
So you have to remember, I do recite very specific lines to you guys regularly because of the key words. So it's not a script per se, it's just I make sure certain things are said because of the way these communication devices work. So it's not like the doctor doesn't know the damn story I'm telling you. It's his own,
Right.
and I recite it every night. So back to that. Amanda gets wind that the doctor's doing pretty well. So she's coming down so they can get married. Dr. Ladd became known as the Whistling Doctor. Here's what I'm going to tell you about whistling ghosts. Every haunted city you will ever visit has a cliched whistling ghost, which is another reason why I'm getting rid of this out of my route. We do get a lot of evidence from this, obviously, and we're going to get a lot more when we go across the street. It's going to come out of the other spirit box as well. Back to Dr. Ladd. By the way, every tour that's down here tells you to listen for those whistles. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together. They cannot sit next to each other during these plays because the doctor makes more money. That's the hierarchy of Charleston, and he gets better seats. So, one night they go see Richard III, and they're walking home. They're arguing over the new actress. The doctor thought she was great. Ralph did not. The argument turns into Ralph insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island. It gets very ugly, and they went their separate ways. I told you Ralph has friends around town. He goes to the newspaper and places an ad in the newspaper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of bullshit, right? Yeah, slap with a glove. No, doctor saw that ad in the paper, and he refuted with, let's just go to Dooller's Alley. Let's settle this shit. Somebody's going to die. So they came down. By the way, this all started over an argument about an actress. I'm just going to point that out. So they came down, took their 10 paces away from each other. They turned. The doctor shot his gun in the air. He did not want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage to show up to the fight, which is often what happens at a duel. But Ralph has his one bullet in his flintlock. He puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. The doctor doesn't die, but he fell to the ground. His friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street, where he died 10 days later on November 2nd of 1786 after refusing medical treatment. I'm going to point out two things. First off, it's 1786. Gunshot wounds are a lot different back then. He refused the medical treatment simply because he's a doctor. He probably just thought he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out himself. But he failed because he died 10 days later. Now, again, like I said, every ghost story tells you to listen for the whistles. We're running 2 video cameras plus my voice recorder. We will get a whistle on one of those things if it's going to occur. We don't need to stand here and wait for it. Secondly, we will get whistling parts of songs with the word doctor immediately after it. We've gotten it, can't tell you how many times in 4 years that that's actually occurred. So, if you're going to try this on your own, because I can't take you all the way through here, I'm going to explain that in a minute because I've actually been kicked out of here. That's the fun part of the story. I'm going to get to it. But if you listen to your voice recorders and just walk all the way through, listen to it later, just remember, every local knows the damn story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland or Queen Street throws a whistle down the alley. I do it every morning. So when I'm done with your guys' data, I normally park over above the little convenience store where they have, and my office is this way. So I have to pass the alley to get to my car. I always throw a whistle down here, especially since I've been thrown out. Let's get to that. This alley.
Who's going to stop you if you walk down here? We'll protect you.
Oh wait, I'm gonna tell you who's gonna stop me, and then they're gonna put a stop to my business because that'll be my second warning.
Oh.
Yeah. So here's how this goes. This will also show you how I kind of piece all of our histories together. This alley specifically did not go all the way through this way. There was a wall about halfway between us and Cumberland Street. That's why I like to stop specifically right here. I've done the measurements. So the reason why is because this is where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston. So imagine cows and chickens down here. This was called Cow Alley before it was called Dueler's Alley. So that means that the bricks way down on the other end that you see all the way down there are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child in one of those bricks and fingerprint swipes in others. If you go to some of our museums around here, there's actually some on display there as well, but the handprint is probably the most prominent one all around town.
Wow.
And I used to take my groups all the way through to the end. We actually used to come through another alley and go down here, and I would show off the handprint no matter the diversity of the group because we all need to see how far we've come from slavery. But I treat that brick the same way I do a grave. I already told you I don't take you to cemeteries. Why would that kid be haunting that damn brick where he was a slave, sun-drying bricks in the sun? So, November 26th of 2020, my entire group of 10 is huddled around that brick waiting for something to happen with the devices that I gave them. I know nothing's going to happen because the kid's not there. He's hanging out with his mom somewhere, probably at home, wherever he lived. So, I'm also trying to shoo them along because I'm trying to be respectful to the mansion that's right next to that brick. Because there's a mansion at the end of the alley. Because that brick is right outside the kitchen window. You can see inside the kitchen. So, the new owner of that mansion came out screaming. My daughter thought it was great because she was on tour that night. Her dad's getting yelled at. She thought it was super fantastic and hysterical all at the same time. And we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I did work in retail management for about 20 years, mainly with the biggest retailer in the world. I do not work on Thanksgiving ever again because I put up with too many fights over towels from you people. So, you guys are all guessing where I work now, aren't you? So, now, with that said, the next day was November 28th. I was sold out again. It's Black Friday. I called my partner that morning that I had at the time, and I told him what happened. He, too, laughed at me, just like my daughter did. And he said, you're only allowed to go down halfway. That's the cutoff point for tours at that time of night. You gotta go down halfway or reroute your group. So I decided to reroute my group. I told my team that night, because again, 10 people staring at me, waiting for something to happen. I told them, I don't believe in this other guy. I'm not a pirate person, so we're going to be discussing pirates next, in case you haven't caught on to that. But before we left, somebody heard the name Anne on a spirit box. I didn't tell them which pirate we were going to be looking into, or hunting down. The famous female pirate, Anne Bonny. So I went, oh shit, maybe we got something going on. We get up there, and I told them the little bit I did know about piracy, which wasn't much because tickets were much cheaper back then, and I could do whatever the hell I wanted to. But at the same time, somebody else heard the number 300. I didn't know what that meant. I wrote it down. I looked it up the next day. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy, November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial.
Wow.
Now, that's normally the reaction that I get, but I was pissed off. Let me tell you why. Again, I'm a vampire guy, so we'll start there. The second one, pirate stories come from pirate lore. I'm a writer. Even when I'm writing fiction, I need facts and data. When I'm doing paranormal investigations, only facts and data. Pirate lore was written 100 years after the facts of when these things allegedly happened. Do you know how many books I've had to read to try to debunk or prove what's going on with our spirit box and in communication over there? I will tell you, everything I will tell you at the next location came from a minimum of 2 resources. Minimum. So I'm still playing video games with pirates in them. I'm watching documentaries on pirates. Like, I am still doing pirate research. I have probably read, I don't know, 40 to 50 books just on pirates and how to debunk the things that actually occurred during real time to make sure what we're going to be discussing at one story is legitimate. I go to the lengths to make sure like what we're doing is pretty solid stuff. It's a fun story, and it's also 50-50 shot, which is why I kind of like this area, because it gives me the bleed over in the event that Anne's not there at the same time we are. Dr. Ladd doesn't really move to many places, so he's going to stay here, give us that lingering effect because he knows I'm in the area, or he may go haunt near the house of where he once lived, which I can't take you to. So, any other major questions on pirates before we leave the space?
So why can't you go around to the end?
It's residential.
Also,
Yeah.
like, let's say tomorrow if we want to walk down, we can't do that.
I would advise it. Like, you guys can.
Yeah.
Without me.
Yeah.
Like, when we're done.
Yeah.
By all means, do so. Me taking a large group and walking around with a backpack and a vest,
Oh,
like,
okay.
that guy's, first off, going to probably recognize me because he already filed a
So they
complaint.
had tours down there. Could
They only go halfway. There's a marker down there on the wall, so we're allowed to go up to that marker.
Oh,
Because beyond that, like, there's there's mansions off to the right, and then on the left-hand side is the Footlight Players Club, which is the actor studio for all the theaters around here, and they do galas down there, so they kind of need that kind of private and residential. And once you hit Queen Street, it's houses. So again, we actually have like a map that we have to follow of where we're allowed to stay and where we can go. So I kind of learned my route. And that's part of the reason why I told you, like, my murder mystery that I'm adding for next year, where she died, where the murder actually happened, is out of bounds. So I have to find somewhere else within bounds that's going to be able to work.
Okay. When you were talking that he received medical treatment, we got medicine on.
We also get things like doctoral. We get all of those kind of like PhD degrees and that kind of stuff will show up on there. So I'm not surprised that you had medicine as well. Did you get an RI for us at all?
Not yet.
Any letters at all?
VJPNOL.
They go get NOLA. New Orleans. I will tell you that's the name of the city, which is about 5 syllables. Sorry, I'm trying to count the syllables in my head. A 5-syllable city name came through 2 nights ago, and it is the name of the city where Dr. Ladd is buried.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Again, it is a long name. So, it's very cool stuff when that shit comes through. Like, I get excited about that because I know exactly what it is because I stare at these guys' records all the time.
Right.
So when he's like, oh, I just heard this city name or whatever it was, and I was like, no way. He's like, is it something serious? I'm like, yeah, man. I'm like, and I can prove it. All right, let's go learn about some rated R pirates. Go ahead and unmute yourself. She's all excited. She wants to look at it. Oh yeah, I gotta rate that shit down.
Should I turn it off? I don't know.
You're good. I just didn't see it. I was walking down. I just saw a white view.
Alright, so like I said, I hope you guys are starting to get the gist that there's no such thing as coincidence. That you guys are starting to see that firsthand. You know, doctor and medicine at the same
Turn it
time.
on?
Like that's not a coincidence at all. Alright. See anything coming out of there? No. Alright. Welcome to the Powder Magazine. So that's the little tiny building up there with the crosses on it. The reason I bring us back here is because the other tours like to come in from that entrance and exit over there, and they kind of like to stop in between. I just keep us out of the way. So once I'm done giving you the history, we'll spread out, kind of see what we get. Just stay out of the other tour's way. There's only one car here, so we don't have to worry too much like what we did at the last location, or at the Pinkley Mansion site. So those are not crosses on the building, by the way. Those are earthquake bolts. They're part of the reason of why we're here. If you don't know what an earthquake bolt is, it's basically a turnbuckle that goes all the way through the building. And if we do have another earthquake, like what we did in 1886 that I mentioned earlier, we can tighten those bolts and it tightens the building so it doesn't incur further damage. It's a great idea, it just doesn't work. The only reason I bring them up is because that's the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in. The reason why is because that's the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713. Here's why we're here. We're here because that building was being constructed at the same time that Anne Bonny was coming here to start a new life. This is what I call a familiar. You guys have all seen the Boo Buddy on your TV shows?
What?
The Boo Buddy. It's a teddy bear with a K2 meter in it. So if the child ghost comes nearby, it'll talk and say, "Oh, that tickles," because the ghost touched it, so forth and so on. They use that because it's familiar to the child as a toy. Think of that same concept of why we're here. Charleston doesn't have many buildings this old. So this is within the bounds of where tours are allowed to be. So we're hoping that she's going to be here at the same 15 to 20 minutes that we are going to be here. That's the hope. So again, Anne is said to be seen all over town. Hopefully she's here at the same time we are and she followed us around. So here's how this piece of history goes. Now, the building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government? Small building, 10 years? Yeah, not at all. I'll answer for you. It's perfectly fine. Anyway, you guys got the joke. I appreciate that. Last night, just kind of stared at me. I'm like, come on, guys. It was a political joke. Have a good time with this. But anyway, so the history begins like right in the middle of its construction. Try to follow me on this one. There's a few twists. I will slow down on those twists. 1708, a young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormac. She comes here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Are you with me so far?
So she's the illegitimate child.
You got it. Okay. The three of them are running away from her father's angry wife. How pissed was she that she kicked them out of the country by boat? Because there's no planes, guys. So normally this is where I warn the gentlemen to be good to your ladies because they'll take you all the way up to Canada, and we have planes today. So imagine the hardship that these people had to go through coming here by boat instead of coming. So let's go ahead and mute that because I'm going to get distracted. Sorry, we're going to be able to put you back to work here in just a minute. Now, they land in Georgetown. That's between us and Myrtle Beach if you're not familiar with our coast. Dad bought a plantation up there, and then Mom died pretty quickly. So that means Dad is now sending young Anne down here to Charlestown to sell things from the plantation to keep things afloat. Mainly rice, if I have my geography right of where their plantation was. There was water there. You need water to make rice. So with that said, that's why we're here, the familiar building. Now, back home in Ireland, Anne was said to be a badass even back then. But they say when she was only 7, 8, 9 years old, remember this is pirate lore, every version has a different age group, they say she killed a servant with a knife to the belly. Can't tell you how many times I've seen servant, knife, and belly come out of all 3 different communication devices, and the other people don't know what the hell's going on. Oh, I have the word servant, I have the word knife, I have the word belly. That kind of thing. I get it all the time. Just
friend.
We had that here the other night, and that could be relative to the doctor and Ralph.
Oh, yeah.
See, this is why you guys keep me around, and you were wondering what the hell I was going to be doing all night long. Sorry, I'm throwing it back at you because I know you can handle it. So
I'll get you later. Don't worry.
Huh?
Call that bleeding?
Yeah. It just depends on what else pops up. So again, at this point, it's a very vague clue because it could be relative in a lot of ways.
That would make sense.
It would make sense, but I want something else like Ralph. And by the way, Ralph was an attorney. So the name Ralph isn't always going to show up, but you may hear the word attorney, so forth and so on. That's why I withhold information. I like to see what you guys are going to find, see if it's going to be a genuine experience. There's still more to the doctor story that I haven't told you, but I'd like to see what you guys are going to come up with. But anyway, back to Anne. Let's fast forward. The building's done in 13, but by 1715, pirates are starting to come through Charlestown. Anne is stoked. Let me tell you why. She is going to fall in love with one of these pirates, so that way she can earn her freedom, just like a man. It's a man's world. So just kind of keep that in mind of the time frame that we're in. So the first guy she falls in love with, and I said first because there's a handful. That's what makes the story so damn good. We're going to talk about all of them. Yeah, I know, right? So the first guy is James Bonny. You guys already see where this one's going, right? We've already mentioned the pirate name of Anne Bonny. Dad didn't approve. He's a filthy pirate. They ran away to Jamaica. They got married. And Cormac is now Anne Bonny. That's where her pirate name comes from. However, when she gets down there, she realizes her new husband is not the Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer, which means he's a spy and a coward for the British. This is not who she wants. She falls in love again a few years later. Guy number 2, John Rackham.
What happened? Did she divorce him?
Nope. Good question.
She killed him?
Nope. She stayed married to him.
And she got married again?
Nope. Let me finish the damn story.
My brain is going ahead.
I know, you should be. And that's why I tell it the way that I do. I want your guys' brains to spin a little bit. Just kind of killing the spin, right? So, guy number 2 is John Rackham, but everybody calls him Calico Jack. This is the guy that they based your Johnny Depp character off of, in case you were wondering who the hell this guy was. He was a real person. Calico Jack has his own crew. He has his own ship. Anne wants to be part of that crew. You can't put a female on a pirate ship. Does anybody want to guess why or know why you can't put a female on a pirate ship? Keep it family friendly. I get kids on this tour.
They all want to.
No, it's bad luck.
That's
normally,
what I would think if they don't want to be.
Yeah.
Only woman
I
on the
don't
ship.
always throw that question out there if there are kids in the tour because you guys all have dirty minds. So, yeah, just kind of keep that in mind. But there's no kids on this tour, so I was like, let me fish it back to home. Let me see what I get. But anyway, it's bad luck. So he makes a deal with her. If you dress like the crew and look like the crew, then you could be part of the crew. She's okay with this. Why? Because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to hide her from his wife. She gets it. It's a man's world. All she wants to do is be a pirate. But she's a female in his quarters. Let's put 2 and 2 together. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl. And then they're going to get...
Just think he got bad.
And then gives birth?
Yeah.
Like, really?
Also, there's a baby on board.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So he drops her off in Cuba before she starts to show, so that way they don't vote him off the ship. So he says, these are friends of mine, they'll help you out, come back later. We'll figure it out then. She goes and has that baby, but returns without a baby. We have no idea what happened to the child after that. So none of my research has ever found it. I know. Significant part of the story, though, is that she comes back dressed as a female. This makes Jack pretty pissed off. Now everybody's going to know he let a girl on the ship. So, to make him even more mad, she's going to go flirting with the pirate crew that Jack just captured. Guy number 3, in case you guys were losing track. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy, to be part of the crew that Calico Jack just captured. You guys with me on that
Guy
one?
number 3 turns out to be a female.
Right, dressed like a guy,
Just like a guy
who was part of the crew
who's part of the crew.
that Calico Jack captured.
Oh, wow. Okay, so she falls in love with a female.
Correct.
All right.
Does she know she's a female?
She does now. Her name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. So, her names Mary and Mark have both shown up here plenty of times in the past. Her and Mary became friends, possibly lovers. We don't really know for sure because of the time frame.
Well, the pregnancy.
I know, right? So, the British find out where they are. What's that?
They didn't nickname her more?
Her name was Mar. She went to become a pirate, to become part
No,
of
because it said Mar.
Oh, right there, right
No, I heard Mar. That's what she said. The nickname
Mar,
was
M-A-R?
Yeah, I said Mar.
I don't know.
When you just said that, I said Mar.
Interesting. What would have been your other... Oh, you do have both of them in.
Yeah.
It
Because
would
you
have
keep
been
going
in
to
your
the one
other
ear.
ear.
Oh, yeah.
Making that up.
I know.
Hey, if you're good with just one ear, because they don't.
No, yeah, 'cause
Most
I'm
people,
listening
yeah.
to him,
Mhm. That's how
That's
most
why
people
I
work.
put it kind of loud.
And they play with the volume back and
Yeah.
forth. Yep, that's what everybody does. So, the British find out where this pirate ship is, and they're going to send a whole fleet of ships to take down one measly little pirate ship. The rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with 1-bullet flintlocks. They don't know how to use cannons yet. They haven't been pirates for very long. So, it's obviously not going to work out. 2 ladies with 1-bullet guns trying to go against the whole fleet of Navy ships. Not going to work. They get arrested. As they're being arrested, Anne looks at her captain, her beau, Calico Jack, and she says, "I'm sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog." The word dog shows up a lot on your communication. I even got dogs barking from regular spirit boxes as we're entering the space. So take it for what it is. Now, the judge, he wants to see the 2 quote-unquote men that fought back so valiantly on their own. He's already tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunk pirates that wouldn't fight. They're dead and gone. The 2 ladies go in front, by themselves. They were
women? Just as women.
beat me to the punch again. They reveal their gender,
Okay.
hoping
sorry.
to save themselves because you can't. Well, I mean, again,
Yeah, they
pirates
don't
weren't meant to
kill
be.
women.
Yeah, but the judge doesn't give a shit that they're women. They're still pirates. Still going to hang them. We plead our bellies was the last thing they shouted because you can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail. Delays the hanging. The dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne, brings her home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, guy number 4. So we're going to count Mary because we don't really know. Right? She has 4 children, dies at the age of 84. That's it.
Mary.
Anne. Mary dies 5 months later in that Jamaican jail from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. Most books tell you that it was fever. I'm going to say let's make it romantic and call it scurvy. Why the hell not? That's a pirate story, right? So, look at you like beat me to the punch on almost every damn line. I love it. So the fact that you guys can see how much research I asked me, or normally when I first started giving this story. You should. Oh God, I could never watch movies with you. I actually me and my wife are like best friends, and we get along super great. We've never even had an argument. I mean, together 8 years, and we've never argued about anything. We cannot I'm the person where if she starts talking during a movie, I will literally hit the pause button.
I don't tell, I just guess. I'll go, oh my gosh, I think that this guy did this. And then my friend will be like,
if she starts talking, I pause the movie and say whatever it is you're going to say. And she just looks at me and I'm like, I don't do this. I'm a writer. This is important. But anyway, back to the pirates. So, Love you dearly. I do. This location, I'm not going to assign questions. This is not a prominent English woman. You don't need to tiptoe around a pirate, all right? Kick her in the shins to get your freaking answers. Like, that's the kind of mentality I want you to have here. This is a know your ghost kind of mentality. Also, keep in mind, Dr. Ladd's stuff may slip through any of the devices that you're holding. Here's what I left out on purpose, just so you had something to work with. So I left out the name of Anne Bonny's parents. That's the father, the mistress. I did not tell you what those were. I also didn't tell you the name of Calico Jack's ship. So that one will come through, hopefully. We don't see it very often, but hopefully with this group it will. The name of the city where Anne grew up in Ireland. I didn't even touch on that one, other than just killing the servant with them in the kind of thing. The last but not least is the color of Anne Bonny's hair. So these are 4 common things that we'll get answers to. It is red.
I was gonna say it's not a common.
With what's weird about this, why I started giving that question out is because if somebody is struggling with a spirit box, I try to give them questions that are going to give them 1-syllable answers, because it's much easier for it to come through and them to be able to hear it. So if somebody's like, if he hasn't heard anything all night long, I would say just focus on her hair color, because red is a very common word. So he may likely hear it. So therefore he might actually have something tangible. Especially if that's the question he's asking over and over and over again. Anything else you want to ask, by all means do so. A lot of it,
So we could ask if they were lovers.
You could, but I can't prove it. It would just be a personal experience at that point.
Okay.
So I'm okay with that. Have a personal experience. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
This is your guys' night. I do this every day. So any crazy readings coming out of yours so far? Now, with yours specifically, we don't get, this is not the Pinckney Mansion. So if you get readings on this back half, I'm excited. Not so much on the front half. You have 2 electrical poles, parking meters on the other side of the bushes. You're going to get readings over there just because of those kind of electrical pieces. So the back half, if you even get a 2.5, I'm actually pretty happy. So anything coming crazy out of yours, Joey?
That was
We do get a lot of female type stuff here. So you're going to see that a lot.
I had it like just set that way when we were talking just to see.
I want to go to there.
It's big, but you're talking pirates that were on.
Oh,
You see a lot of quiet times here. That makes sense. Quote was another one. Again, very vague. I'm not like super but it is kind of like based on hearing them.
Right.
On here, you're looking for
I'm just getting pieces of sewing. Sure, I can trade with you if you want.
Just because it's a little heavy.
I know, that's why I offered. What?
I just like we're walking around with stuff.
I know, it's so crazy.
Show me your stuff, then.
Okay, now we should go like.
That's fun.
Yeah, because we're trying to find ghosts.
With some of the strong flavors that I use, it comes up really nice when I'm going through
So if she's facing this way and I'm this way, could it do a flash?
It could.
Okay.
If we cross, yeah, like if you guys kind of like went this way, you're gonna get a definite flash.
Okay.
That's why I said don't ever face each other.
We didn't, but I was facing this way and I got a flash.
She may have jiggled hers a little bit.
Okay. Don't get me all excited, Nick.
It could be something else. With my
Ah! Oh, it's Sherry. They all jumped.
Everybody was all excited. They're like, what'd you see?
Everybody jumped. That was awesome.
Get the bite out of it because that's why it's there. I wanted to cut through the ash of the
They all jumped.
I didn't
I'm
jump.
so sassy. I'm really sassy. I admit it.
I like it. It's funny.
Oh, I liked it too. Although you look really cute. I look like I have weird lines, but it's just the
Yeah, it's from your little psychic device.
That's so funny. Everybody went
like, oh, what'd she find? What'd she see? Oh my god, it was literally 10:52.
I think we have one more spot. I don't know though. I don't know if we have another spot or if this is it then. I'm not sure.
Come on, Ann. Give us some information.
Yeah. Come on, Ann. Where are you from? Where were you born?
Yeah.
Ann.
The Irish connection.
Have your voice. We know you had red hair. Did you get it on with that Mary?
Radio.
I thought it said no.
Sorry, we've been chatting. I haven't followed up.
I just said, which one was your favorite couple?
George.
I just said, who was your favorite one out of all of them? Guys or
George.
Oh, I just said George.
I don't know who George is. Not here. You get anything else out of there that stood out?
But you got your protein bar to keep you going. That.
What are you getting out of your spirit box?
I heard no, but I said, did you get it on with Mary? You said that I could ask. I did say that. I actually said it out loud.
I got the dirty mind spinning.
I
now.
do.
I made it an open, okay thing, and now it's.
I always have a dirty mind, Nick. It's
any
bad.
numbers coming out of yours, Claudia? Nothing at all. Okay.
But the best was when I went, you guys all jumped.
Like, oh, it's Sherry.
We were excited.
Well, it scared me because I knew it was really you, but I was being sassy, like.
Oh, let me kind of regroup you guys.
What you getting?
She might be picking up that tree on the side. I can see it. That's the tree, Megan.
Is it the tree?
Yeah.
Woo! Got a live one here.
Did you guys see this group walking
I got
by
a
the way?
big.
So if you're gonna take an actual ghost tour in here in Charleston, that's the guy you want to use. That guy's been doing this for almost 30 years. He has got the creepiest voice I think I've ever heard in my life. His name is Mike Brown. The name of his tour is called Pleasing Terrors. He's a native, so he's from here. He's been doing this a long time, and he's always sold out. He takes 20 people twice a day.
Wow.
Like the guy.
Pleasing Terrors?
Yeah. So me and Mike, he's like my only friend as far as in this industry. He called me because of one of my investigations at a place he was looking to do something for on his podcast. So he and I, if I have a question about something, I email him, and like he's the guy. He's not a historian, but he is damn good at what he does. And what a great storyteller. And when somebody with a master's degree at storytelling, like this guy impresses the shit out of me. So again, and I still take his tour once a year, like just as a refresh. And I call him up, I'm like, Mike, I'm going to be there Thursday. He's like, oh, I'm waiving your ticket. I'm like, no, you're not. Paying you, man. Like, so he doesn't really change anything. He just kind of does this thing. And everybody books him year after year after year after year.
Pleasing Terrors?
Yep.
Oh, wow, that's a cool name.
He's got a creepy little, like a ventriloquist dummy as his logo. Like, really cool stuff. And again...
Try to mimic his voice?
No.
Oh.
I can't.
I'm curious to see how he sounds.
Like he's very, so I am very outgoing. Like, right, you guys all feel very comfortable with me. So,
I'm uncomfortable. I don't know. Aren't the rest of
you
you?
shut your mouth. When he talks, you listen. Like, that's the kind of person he is. Like, so every time I've taken his tour, sometimes I've taken it solo, sometimes my wife was with me. Everybody, all 20 people that he has, focused. Like laser focused, because he's not going to raise his voice. He's not going to be like, all right guys, come on over here. You know what I mean? He's just, and this is where we stop. You know, and he's an excellent storyteller. Like, oh my god. But anyway, what else do we have going on with our stuff?
I heard a no, so I don't think they got it on.
Here.
What was it?
Blood here.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, running now. Just literally said, yeah.
Anything else on there that I need to know?
Quick question, is it this one, Charleston's Pleasing Share Tonight, Time Western Coastal?
Yep, that's him. Look at her like, this guy sucks. I'm going to go see Mike.
Mike, do you still have an opening for tonight? It's 11. We can be there in 5 minutes.
Last night at Philadelphia Alley, like I was a little overbooked last night. I had 11 women.
Can we just join his tour right now?
Beat me to my punch. So I had 2 guys show up to my tour. Now, mind you, I hand out a piece of equipment to everybody that comes, right? 2 guys just show up and like, is this a ghost tour? I'm like, it's a ghost hunting tour. Can I help you? Like, I don't say that we're a ghost tour. So he's like, can we join if I pay you money? I'm like, I'm already overbooked, and I have 11 women here. Like, no, have a good night. Like, I was kind of a jerk to this guy, but like, I get that. But I don't normally get like, hey, can I join? I get the poacher. Like, it'll just kind of creep in. Kind of like, you don't have a blinky light. You need to get the hell out of here. But yeah, I'm like, you don't have a blinky light device. You need to get the hell away from us. So anything else coming out of yours? What about yours? Anything? What came up before blood here? I'm curious.
Develop, open, little, okay, glow, finally, last, practical, change.
Yeah, it's still vague though. You get it, but it's, again, I like those secondary solid pieces. I like names, I like numbers. It's facts. And it's okay. Arnaldo's probably just missing a lot in real time because he's eating protein and he's hearing himself chew it. So I know when I am like
hearing you chewing, actually.
At least you weren't like fixated on the tree, like I got something, nobody's listening. I'm like, God.
You know what's funny is Mike probably just walks by and goes, "That's got to be Nick's tour." Like,
I'm like up in the tree.
Well, I totally messed with y'all and
You're real fun. That was so great. You guys all went, and I'm like, oh, it was nice.
she does
Apparition.
all right, keep an eye on all your stuff. We're gonna head up towards this wall because it seems like it's kind of, I hate to say bad pun, but it's dead here right now. So I'll explain what our last stop is after this, once we go up to the wall and give you all of the answers, because you guys all the word Kingston to come out of Arnaldo's spirit box, possibly the one that Sherry's holding right now, only because it picks up more disembodied voices. This is where the word king would actually suffice. We have to kind of utilize the technology that we're using to our advantage. What color is a big red barn? Blood, right? So what was the name of Calico Jack's ship? King. I'm good with that. That's a direct answer, right? Because it is called the Kingston. We're just not going to hear the word Kingston on a Charleston radio station. So that's kind of why I kind of always give those extra clues of like, hey, you got to look outside this box to see what's really going on here. We didn't get that answer tonight, at least what we caught in real time. I will tell you that this was a pretty light piece of our night. I will tell you that the Pinckney Mansion was pretty good. We probably have other things going on with Dr. Ladd, since we did get the word befriend. I don't know what other initials we have
got
going on there.
Ruby, though. Wouldn't that have been...
Ruby was way early.
Oh, so that one...
Yeah, we're a little out of that proximity.
Okay.
Have I gotten things about Anne Bonny over in that area? Yes, I've gotten several clues in one night, but I can't find the connection of why it would be over there. So that's just kind of my mentality. Like, why here? Why now? Then I'll start looking at dates. So when you guys start hearing numbers, I always look at it as a date, whether it's a year, or if you heard, call me at 8370. I look at it as like what happened in March of 1770. That's kind of how I look at it. Like that's what I'm going to look into, and I have an almanac to be able to look everything up, and it's just for Charleston. So if I find a connection, I did last night. You can go back and look at their stuff and see what happened last night. Anyway, here, let's talk about this blindfold test. We're going to take Arnaldo, because he's been listening to that spirit box all night, and we're going to blindfold him. And we're going to put noise-canceling headphones over top of his earbuds. And he's going to sit on a bench, and he's not going to know the history, because I'm going to take everybody else and teach them the history. And then we're going to come back and we're going to talk to Arnaldo as if he were our ghost that we're going to hunt down. I don't want him being pre-influenced by anything that's going to be what you guys are going to be looking for.
And I'm
it's good now.
Am I supposed to like focus on...
Well, we're going to get it nice and tight, all four of us. The reason why is because if other tourists are coming through here, I don't need them to see like what the hell I'm doing and stealing my ideas. So I'm okay with them seeing the paranormal investigator on the back of my vest, but again, that's like, hey, what the hell are they doing? All right, so a couple of things. So you are going to be talking in real time. Do not forget to talk. Some people get under there and they just sit, and I'm like, they forgot to tell me like what the hell they're hearing. You're not going to be remembering all this shit. You're supposed to be having a conversation with me, only you don't know what my end of the conversation looks like. It's okay to answer in yes/no answers at this point because you don't know the question. I might be asking our ghost if I'm wearing a black vest. I'm expecting a yes out of you. Does that make sense now? So you're literally going to be telling us in real time whatever you're hearing. A couple of motions that you need to understand. So first off, gentlemen know that I'll never touch you, but when we're done, because I'm only going to keep you under for 10 minutes. So any more than that, newbies get a little disoriented from being blindfolded and being in a virtual reality. So Claudia's going to tap you on the leg when we're done. In the event you start hyperventilating or anything goes wrong, she's also going to tap you on the leg, and you're going to take off your own gear. If you can't, then Claudia's going to do it for you. Okay? So again, things do happen. Secondly, if you're talking too loud, because we are in a neighborhood, there are neighbors behind us, she's going to tap you on the shoulder. Quiet now. If we can't hear you, she's going to lift your ear muff and say louder. So it's going to be just like that. So that way we can actually hear you, and that way we can pick it up on the cameras and work. So as far as your end, Joey, you're going to keep things nice and simple. If you see something like two men sitting on a bench with a tree in the background, say 2 men, bench, tree background. That's it. I'm going to need to focus on what he's got going on, but if you say tree and he says something relative to the tree, we might actually have something going on. Like, hey, we need to go get an EMF reading by that tree to kind of see what's going on. You guys are getting my point on this, right?
Yep.
So with that said, let's get earbuds first. I'm sorry, no. Blindfold first, then earbuds. You're also not going to be touching your spirit box once you get a comfortable volume, because I don't want to make sure you're not cheating. I'm going to set
the mask looks great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You hear that, babe?
Did you hear that? Yeehaw! Tonight's the night.
Let me take your helmet for me so I can pop this in there. Have you ever used VR before?
Once.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and set it up just because I'm quicker.
He's like, why didn't I bring my spurs and cowboy hat?
Let's not get super kinky on this.
Oh, yeah. I'm all over it.
You're going to see rolling gray smoke in here just so you don't fall asleep, because otherwise it'd be complete darkness. You're going to tell us everything that's not the gray smoke. And a lot of
tell
times,
you everything that's not gray smoke.
yeah, see how that's gray smoke right now?
Yeah.
There'll be pictures that kind of float in there, so it's not going to be 3D in your face. There'll be 2D,
Right.
And whatever's floating there, that's what you're going to describe to us. You do have a focus on here, so if things are blurry, just move the focus back.
Yeah.
Okay. Noise canceling headphones.
Cracking up.
Take these in. you're going to put these on.
Yeah, baby.
So have the earpods on, right?
Yep. Go ahead and turn your volume up. And then you're going to go behind him. And yep, you got it. Just spread them out. Apparently still have Lysol on them because they...
Is that good?
There you
I don't know, can you hear us?
Can you hear us, guys?
Nope, you cannot. He's good. Okay, so it is 11:35. Holy cow, we've been out a while. I don't pay attention to time, just so you guys know. Okay, Henry Timrod, if you are here, can you describe your occupation for us, please? We're using both visuals tonight, and I have two males sitting here. So this is Joey and Arnaldo. Arnaldo can hear whatever you want us to hear, and of course, Joey can see whatever you want us to see. Just use the green box and tell the green box what you want us to see. We're going to start with your occupation. Make things nice and simple. Keep an eye on your thing too, because we have gotten triple digits at this location. I think he forgot to talk to us. Can you lift up his earmuff and tell him to talk to us?
I think he's waiting to hear something. Wait.
Don't forget to tell us what you're hearing.
Oh, okay.
Did you hear anything?
No, just static.
Okay.
Piano.
Piano. You did not play the piano that I know of, Henry. Can you tell us what you did to earn money? I need to know your occupation. Let's get some verification that you're here first.
Terminal.
Could be relative to his disease, terminal. I don't know that they would have used that term back in the 1860s, but it's something I can definitely dive into.
Fraud.
Any visuals at all, Joey?
Trying to make him out.
You are awake, right, Joey?
Yeah, he's awake. Whenever you get a picture, just try to... And you'll know when you get a picture, trust me, it'll start to appear. It's not going to be in the gray smoke.
Music right now.
What's the music?
Henry Timrod.
God's love.
You want to talk about the church across the street? A lot of times I'll ask real-time questions to get that verification. So, if you could tell me the name. What's the name of the church across the street? Who's it named after?
Clancy T.
Henry. We're still looking for verification that you're here. You can tell us about your occupation, or if you want to talk about something else. Maybe the friend whose cottage you used.
Lady in a white dress.
White dress?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to talk about your wife? Is that who's in the picture? That's a yes/no question. Can you tell the time period, Joey?
Walking down a hallway.
If you can.
Long dress, not showing any skin. My guess is late 1800s.
It's just static right now.
Okay. Is that Katie? Is that Katie, your wife, in the picture, Henry? If so, you could tell me her last name. That would be her maiden name. It was Goodwin. Well, often get the name Good. Go ahead, Joey. Something else?
Like a lady, like, I don't know, fire almost.
Those images are not easy to interpret when you see them because they are weird. Like I showed you guys pretty clear pictures from Bing, but that is crazy. Notice how Arnaldo got quiet as I'm not asking him questions. That happens all the time. So, Henry, can you come through? Can you tell us if somebody else is here with you?
Keep hearing pianos.
Who else is here with you? Can you give us a first name? Henry, who else is here with you?
Details.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the details. You're not giving me anything. Can you tell me who's here with you? Give us the image as well. Joey will tell us what he sees. It's been about 5 minutes, just so you guys know. This goes by pretty quick. We got a big fat no on there. How long did that come up at the...
It just came up. What did he say?
God is not right.
Oh. A no came up? It just says answer me. Answer me.
Henry Timrod, we need some specifics. Do you tell us what you want to talk about? I've asked you several questions with no answers coming directly.
Wow.
You tell us. We've gotten an image of a woman. I have to assume that you want to talk about your wife, Katie.
Hear a woman singing.
What did he say?
He heard a woman singing.
Why does it say while?
Again, 80% of it will be BS.
Okay.
We just got to keep Joey awake.
I'm good.
You just look very relaxed.
I am
focused.
fully engaged in this.
He says I'm focused.
Static
Oh,
still.
I'm trying to show you. Henry, did you bring somebody else here with you? Is somebody interfering with our conversation?
It's a sneak. Sneak.
Who else is here? Can you give us your first name? Or some kind of imagery so I can take a good guess of who you are?
I keep hearing God.
God.
You're in the Bible Belt. We get a lot of religious stations
Holy
at night.
music.
Henry,
A priest.
lots of church stuff. Can you tell us what sound we normally hear out of the church? It's probably coming up here very soon. What sound do we normally get? We've had that word spelled out. We've had it show up there. We've had them repeat it. The word bells shows up a lot while we're doing this. I got a whole lot of nothing. You got any EMFs at all? Because this is actually going on. It's only working with EMF. Henry.
Idea from the video.
Idea from the video. We are recording all of this with different machines that you probably are not familiar with.
Idea from the video.
Henry. Any clue or verification?
Image.
We need to see an image. Can you show us the image that you want to talk about? His breathing's getting a little quicker.
Mm-hmm.
Henry, show us an image of what you want us to talk about. Get close to the green box.
Holy music again.
Do you want us to leave? Do you want us to go home?
It's
Holy
a
music
cross
again.
and a couch.
Cross and a
I don't know, like a...
No more painting.
Painting.
Is he a painter?
No, but he just said no more painting. Like, I don't want to show you images.
Oh.
There's that sound, Henry. What's the sound we're hearing? I've literally had bells spelled out on the Ouija board after asking that question.
Hi.
Hi.
Is it bi or hi?
Who is it?
Well, any of our ghosts that would haunt this place are not going to use the phrase hi. It would be more hello. Like, you have to
Okay.
think of the time frame these
Right.
people come from.
Okay.
Henry, what sound did we just hear?
Carolina corrections.
Something with corrections. Probably feeling something with Trump on the news.
But he got a cross too.
There's a lot of religious things going on here. I can't figure out like where it might be coming from.
Unless it's in.
We got 1 minute, Henry. Last chance. Any verification that you're actually here? Give us another religious term or another religious image. I'll take that.
woman singing.
Still like the answer of what we, heard out of the church that verifies that you're here watching. This thing's going crazy.
Accident.
Accident.
What type of accident?
Man up to him.
What was it?
Man
what?
up to him.
Man.
You weren't a fighter, Henry. I don't think anything of that is relevant.
Rock and roll music.
That's not
Piano.
poor.
Piano.
It says poor.
He was poor. We get that word here probably 5 out of 7 nights a week.
Really? Well, it says poor. Is he saying the lyrics or just like what he's hearing?
He's supposed to be telling me lyrics too.
Yeah.
But you guys are going to hear the end of this as when you guys get your recording
We'll
back.
hear what he. Yeah.
So it's the last 10 minutes.
Okay.
So I have him shut it off and end the recording as soon as
And
we're
then you
done.
re-listen and see
Yep.
it.
So, Henry, we're going to call it. Can you say goodnight to us? Or show us an image that says goodnight? It's been about 11 minutes. We're going a little over. Joey, nothing? Damn. Yeah, Henry's been quiet tonight. Claudia, go ahead and tap him out. Joey, go ahead and peel that thing off your face. Let's all take a look at the images that you've had.